This is from Saturday at a semi-pro hockey game in Saint-Jérôme near Montreal. Fans yelling racist slurs at Jonathan Diaby, who is black, one even leaning over the side of the penalty box to taunt him. And it didn't stop there. Fans turned on Diaby's father and girlfriend who were in the stands, insulting and threatening them as well. Our Alison Northcott now with the story behind the video and the outrage it sparked.
I had to put my jersey over my face because I had teardrops, you know?
Jonathan Diaby says he's faced racism before, but nothing like this.
They started yelling racist stuff at my parents and my sister and all that, and myself. Good old Negro and all that, the baboons, like a bunch of stuff that was said.
The insults, he says, came from a handful of spectators and were so bad he and his family left the arena before the game was over.
Well, my dad was told to go back home, that he had no business in his country and all the places, stuff like that. You know, people were like touching his hair, they were making fun of him. My sister was scared, my girlfriend was scared.
He says referees and security guards did nothing to protect them. Diaby's league, the Ligue Nord-Américaine de Hockey, is notorious for rough play and rowdy crowds. But Diaby's coach says even by that standard, this goes too far.
In 2019, it's something that, you know, we shouldn't see anymore, and it's, I think it's disgusting.
Je tiens à m'excuser à Jonathan Diaby.
The head of the league apologized to Diaby in this video, telling fans that racist, sexist, or homophobic comments are unacceptable. An owner of the opposing team says security guards did act, but didn't kick anyone out because no one threw any punches. Now, Robert Chevrier says the team is trying to identify the fans in question to ban them from future games.
C'est un très bon point.
Former NHL player Georges Larac says there should be a rule across the league requiring teams to kick fans out who engage in this kind of behavior.
This is worst thing that I've ever seen. When I started to play hockey, and I've lived some racism when I played hockey, it was never to that level.
This is not hockey, you know, like that's far beyond like what should be happening on a regular Saturday night. You know, nobody should feel threatened to go watch his son play a hockey game.
Diaby says it's also up to players to tell their fans that hate is not okay in the stands or anywhere else. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother AHBAD from GMS YAHAWAH, GMS in Petersburg, Florida. Call her loyal and YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, Bahashim B'chakadash. YAHAWAH, who in the world ethnically called Lord and God. YAHAWASHI, who in the world ethnically calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my elder apostles, the great MILLSTONE. Singing honors to all you sincere brothers pushing his word. Peace and blessings to the 1/3. And peace and blessings also to you confusion in the face. And shalom, peace and blessings be unto you all. As you see in the beginning of this video, you see how an individual on the right of the screen, how basically him, his father, his sister, and even his girlfriend at the time were basically being taunted with quote-unquote racial slurs, so to say. In today's society, they call it racial slurs, but the biggest races on the face of the earth is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, woman, and child. The reason why I'm breaking this up because the individual you see on the right screen, on the right side of the screen, will be known as an Israelite. I can tell he's an Israelite, you know, even his middle name and the few things that he says and the way he talks goes to show, man, that he could be possibly an Israelite. We know he's not a Hamite, you know, whatever. But nonetheless, though, they were taunted, okay, with racial slurs. In other words, calling them niggers and things of that nature in a hockey league. But this is the thing, though. See, this is what Esau Edom don't tell you. They won't tell you that the sports, most of the sport, or all the sports, and the inventions you see today on your TV, that we made it. When I say we, I mean the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, we are Hebrew Israelites. So now with that being said, let's get to the story. This is from blackamericaweb.com. Little known Black Fat, the Colored Hockey League. And the so-called Negro, the black man in America, is the real Jew of the Bible. There's much evidence out there on it. So we're not a color. We are actually a nationality, the Hebrew Israelites. The Colored Hockey League of Maritimes in Nova Scotia was formed in 1894 across the provinces of Canada. This was 22 years before the National Hockey League. So that right there is the point I wanted to get at. But I want to continue on anyway. The first all-black Israelite Ice Hockey League held over a dozen teams and employed over 400 African Canadian players. Israelite, okay. The men were typically natives from the Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island areas. The league was especially surprising to the stereotypical beliefs of white Edomites, Esau, okay, that blacks, Israelites, Judahites, couldn't endure cold climates, or that we didn't have ankles strong enough to skate ice, to ice skate. So basically, when you watching NHL, we created that 22 years prior to that. Like they like to say, the Henry Ford T model, there was an Israelite, a dark-skinned man that actually came up with the car. I believe like 6 or 7 years prior to Henry Ford even putting the car into major production. All right. So nonetheless, though, we come up with the inventions, they make the patents. That's why you have something called patents today. Okay, we have a patent to this. Because after you create this, 2 or 3 years after this, somebody else can make a generic form of it. It's all about marketing, man. It's all about making profit. That's why there's more than one different type of car, more than one different type of vaccine or message. You understand what I'm saying? But anyways, now let's go into the scriptures of the Bible real quick to prove my point that we are the children of Israel. And when you're talking about racism in America, the biggest racists are the so-called white man, woman, and child. Okay, here it is. This man is playing in your league. This is a semi-pro hockey league, but you still treat this man like he is nothing. Nonetheless, though, let me go back to the point of that we created hockey. This is Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the form of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. YAHAWAH of hosts is his name. Now, when it says that the portion of Jacob is not like them, he's the former of all things. The former of all things mean that you are the creator, the inventor of all things, which is why we know we come from which is why we know there are different lineages of Adam. Because here it is from Adam all the way down to Jacob, we had the form of all things. Because didn't that Adam name everything? Right, like today when you go into the science, every scientific terminology have a Latin word to it. Okay, there's a Latin word for a certain type of flower, for a rose. All right, like there's a Latin word for a certain breed of pit bulls. Understand? So nonetheless, though, we are the form of all things, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel after he wrestled with the angel. All right. So going back into this incident that's happening with this young brother right here, it goes back to the curses. All right, we are under curses, brothers and sisters, so to say. All right, we are all under curses. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, ye gather together, O nation not desire. Don't you notice the Lord said gather? That means if something's gathered, it's like you walking with a bowl of oranges. All of a sudden, you know, your little cousin runs in front of you and you stumble, you know, you startled, whatever, and then you drop all the oranges. What will you do to those oranges? You would gather them together because they have been scattered. That's why you have what they call the 10 lost tribes of Israel. No, the so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, we are the lost tribes of Israel. Now we know who we are. And we're gathering ourselves together via the internet to bring out this truth, man. That's why the racism is so heavy against you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, man. It don't matter how great you are, what you do. LeBron James had a house in Los Angeles. This was like about a year, some change ago, probably. They spray painted nigger all over his white garage door. But then LeBron still moved to LA and he's at the ball. And I bet you that same devil, that same racist, so to say, is still cheering him on, though. It doesn't matter what you do, man. They hate you for who you are. Because you were Israelite. It's all the curses, man. All right? So, hey, this is not our rest. We all need to wake up and realize, man. I want to say also, you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, that the Most High has chosen you to be the most beautiful people on the face of the earth. But because we went off, because we sinned against sin by keeping our heritage, which is the Bible, is not religion. This is a heritage. The Bible is a heritage of the so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. The Most High basically pushed us off. And now we're bearing this iniquity until salvation and redemption and forgiveness of sins is given unto us. All right. So now with that being said, I'm going to read this last precept and close out. Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with this sort of destruction. What does it mean, depart from her? It means take yourself out of the society, man, and stop trying to be conjoined with the people of this world. All right, separate yourself from them, which means to be holy, and come back to YAHAWASHI. Only you so-called Negro Latinos, Native Americans, and you confusion of faces. Listen, if you hear the word Yahweh and the words YAHAWASHI and they resonate with your spirit, and you feel like, wait a minute, I might be an Israelite. Listen, you keep watching videos, you pray to Yahweh, YAHAWASHI, and see if he increase you. All right, because hey, all brothers not gonna look like Shaft. All right, some brothers may look like Enrique Iglesias. All right, or may look like Robert De Niro, or Tom Cruise, or Brad Pitt. Nonetheless, so they can be brothers. All right, it's not really the appearance of your skin. It's the spirit that's within. And with that being said, quote me Master Allah Muwafla Babal Shalom.